Just as Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without any presents, so the aftermath wouldn't be complete without a brace of sumptuous adaptations of popular novels before which to slump bonelessly on the sofa on Boxing Day while the meat sweats wear off, and the chocotorpor moves in. This year, we have been royally blessed. Last night gave us the first of a three-part Little Women, BBC One, Louisa May Alcott's 1868 children's classic, and of a two-part The Miniaturist, Jessie Burton's 2014 best-selling debut, and each was, forgive me, a cracker. Slight initial misgivings about the amount of head-tilted, winsome smiling going on in the opening minutes of Little Women vanished as a confident and charming production hit its stride. The makers avoided the sentimentality that is easily introduced into the tale of Meg, Jo, Amy and Beth making their way to maturity in the world while their father is off fighting on the side of the angels in the American Civil War. More importantly, they rightly judged that this is neither the year nor the time of year for a revisionist Alcott. Emily Watson as Mommy and Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury. As Aunt March are magnificent and all the girls hit the right spots. Meg, Willa Fitzgerald, was gentle and sensible. We haven't yet got to the bit where she goes to the Moffats dance and gets her shoulders out for the lads, without being dull. Amy was whatever the 19th century Massachusetts phrase for fabulous, shade-throwing badass is. Beth was, well, she was Beth and you either love her or hate her, but, whatever your mileage, you should know that she survives until at least next week. Jo is why I'm completely Jo, a rambunctious, gangly, non-standard beauty, throwing herself around Concord with Laurie until the creative urge consumes her in the garret again. Laurie, incidentally, is played so persuasively by Jonah Hauer-King that I may have to revisit my long-held opinion that Jo was right to reject him in the end and that he and Amy deserve each other. I hope this is the very last recalibration of childhood beliefs the year will hold. None of the big moments have been missed so far. Jo has burned Meg's hair off. Mr. Lawrence, Michael Gambon, who obviously had 2 days to kill at some point this year and thought, yeah, well, why not, has been stern to everyone in a big softie with Beth, and the homos have been fed the March Christmas muffins. We also, and I must take a moment to compose myself, had a faithful rendering of the manuscript moment. Amy, piqued by Jo's refusal to take her to the theater with Meg and Laurie, burns Jo's only copy of the story she has written. When Jo thereafter fails to pass on Laurie's warning about the ice when they go skating later, Amy plunges through. As in the book, instead of leaving her to drown she helps to save her and the whole thing is turned into a lesson for Jo about learning to control her temper. Balls to that, say I, even at Christmas. When I adapt Little Women, everything after the fool's cap turns to ashes will comprise the delivery of ever more barbaric and yet still wholly and forevermore justified tortures of Amy, culminating in icy death and a hell spent having her nose flattened under a dead weight of pickled lines. Justice cometh, Jo, I promise. The Miniaturist, BBC One, was a sized treat. What with being set in 1686's Amsterdam and all, it's very Vermeer, which I am all for, and don't write in and tell me he died in 1675, unless you think the Dutch middle classes changed their domestic interiors and threw out their wardrobes the moment his obituary hit that week's Stealth Herald, and beautiful as well as being a whopping good story. Nella Orton arrives at the house of her new husband Johannes Brandt, who secured her hand in marriage by paying off her family's debts, to be met not by him but his unimpressed sister, Marin. She makes Mrs. Danvers look like Ma Larkin. Their house is of mystery, power plays, love letters, vibes and a doll's house furnished by an unseen artisan who somehow knows, then starts to predict, what happens in the house of increasingly ill repute. The writing and the acting is as stunning as the scenery and it sent me scurrying off to find the book. The concluding part tonight will be a tremendous treat.